my pleasure also to be here today. I am representing, as was indicated, the Heritage Committee, and we of course relate to all things having to do with heritage matters. In terms of what our role is then as a Heritage Committee, this represents one that is where we simply perhaps oversee it or try to give information and provide some kind of support in terms of doing this type of project. To a large extent we operate on our own, but we are of course are at arm's length to the city, and so most of our activity goes and is done through a grant that the city provides to us, and then we think in terms of different projects, different ideas. You'll probably be aware that there's a walking tour of Steinbach of many of the main older sites that have been identified on it. If you care to walk that sometime, just pick them up somewhere in town. I should tell you that one of our major projects is just coming to fruition at this time. The book is ready, and we will be launching a book of the first 50 years of Steinbach. It'll be launched on November the 2nd at City Hall, and it's a book written by Ralph Friesen, one of the original, member of the family, one of the original families of Steinbach, the Friesen family, the clan, A.S. Friesen clan, for those of you that know a little bit about the history of Steinbach. At any rate, it's a significant volume. It's very interesting to read, and as members of the families that you are, of not the original 18 families of Steinbach, but very close to that. Mr. Loewen, that would be the grandfather to A.T. Loewen, Abraham T. Loewen. His grandfather married a widow from Steinbach in 1877. That's just 3 years after Steinbach was begun as a village. And he married into the family, and so began the Loewen enterprise of Steinbach. And indeed, what a family that is in terms of providing incentives, initiatives, and whatnot to this city. You can hardly read anything that has to do with Steinbach that won't have the name Loewen somewhere mentioned, and most of it has to do with the building of Steinbach. As you probably know, Steinbach became a city became the largest town of the original settlement of the Mennonites in 1874. It was soon to be seen that it was becoming the major center of this East Reserve. And it was, the Loewens came on the scene not the very earliest, but right next to them. So you had the Reimer clan that was very significant in terms of the entrepreneurial aspect of the city. There was the Friesen clan, another one that was very active in terms of the city. And probably somewhere, although they came just a little later, as I say, began in 1877 and really started their enterprising when the T. Loewens came on the scene. And of course, you know about C.T. Loewens, you know about Peter T. Loewens, you know about I.T. Loewens and their enterprise. They were the entrepreneurial ones. And I was glad for what the mayor said just a moment ago. It seems to me that they were all really going, making money, making the town grow and so on. And you needed to have somebody that had a little different slant on things. And I think from what the mayor was saying, I think you had that in Mr. A.T. Loewen. He recognized that there are other services that are required in a city besides just entrepreneurial business kinds of spirit. And even although this was a business of sorts, it was a kind of social business. And so I think recognizing him from that dimension is very significant. And I guess if I look at the Loewen clan and some of their offspring, I see some of that social interest in some of the grandkids along the way. I won't mention any names, but you probably read things here and there too, and they do suggest a very significant interest in the social welfare of people. So there is a link, I think. At least I'd like to suggest that there is. Anyway, that book that I was talking about, why don't you show up at the launch? It's at noon hour at the City Hall. We're having some refreshments to go with it. Ralph will be there. He'll be talking a little bit, giving a little idea of what the book is about, and perhaps reading a couple of excerpts from it. It should be an interesting bit. Today, the family, of course, we're here today to officially recognize Abram T. Loewen, the founder of Loewen Funeral Home. which later son Bob operated, as I understand, and then Ray and Laverne, I think, took over or are working with it as well. So on behalf of the committee, Heritage Committee, I'd certainly like to congratulate you people, Lois, for taking initiative. She must be a bit of a mover and shaker too, or this would not have perhaps come about. So Lois and Bob and Mary, whom I connected with as well, and the initiative that you took. I think this is an excellent addition to Steinbach, and remembering one aspect of what Steinbach has to offer. For future generations, by the way, located on the original Lot 11 of Steinbach, in case you didn't know. Lot 11. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and all the best to you people.